Hi, very good morning. It's Shane from Astor. I am absolutely impressed by the video that Canadian Prepper put out, or even a short on this matter, because it's something that I have been thinking about this week. So, you know, two great minds are on the same wavelength here. A woman showing people how to be preppers, absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I can assure you there is absolutely everything wrong with what we are looking at right now, because this is not about educating men in prepping. And like Canadian Prepper said, there is no accident that she wore that outfit to do this video, where she shows somebody how to make a gabble or you know, a hammer, a wooden hammer. But this is the mindset of people these days. You know, you'll find that she's probably got 1 million views out of this, and you know, the video was intentionally to educate people on bushcraft, but obviously, you know, there is what is going on in the background, and that is more important than actually educating people, and that is selling a prescription for maybe a Patreon account, could be for donations, it could be for a lot of other less meaningful reasons than the actual educational purpose of the video. I want to show you one other who's absolutely classic, and if this woman feels that she's by some means you know, achieving something out of this, she's achieving one thing only, and that is underselling women on the whole, because in most of her videos all you see is her ass on the, you know, the main video description. So let's have a look at that, and we'll just talk about this a little bit more, because I think it is absolutely important that we do. So here's another channel, camping and relaxing, where the very same thing is happening. And I want to say something, that YouTube is earning money off this, and yet they should be quite easily, you know, being even harder on channels like this than they are on mine. You know, I get warnings if I talk about you know, medical misinformation is what they describe it as, yet I've studied biology, you know, I qualified to talk about this subject, you know, on virology, let's just put it that way. And you get some chick, you know, on most of her videos flashing her only asset, which is not her brains for start, it's her arse. And just look at the amount of views that she's got: 499,000, 71,000, 205,000, 32,000. You know, it goes on. You know, what are people thinking? Why they're watching this thing? When, you know, I do a video and it barely gets 1,000 views on a tragedy that has just broke out recently, like we've seen in Spain and other countries around the world, like the United States, etc. You know, massive floods that have totally devastated people's lives and washed away their houses, and they've lost everything. And that should be more of a functional thing that would grab your attention, but you know, it obviously isn't the case, because you know, 2 months ago, and in those 2 months, that video's had 500,000 views, and no way has any one of my videos that are educational, teaching people, you know, a few things in science domain, and educating them on the anomaly that we're going through, like the magnetic pole reversal. And we can see clearly there is no interest in what I do. But you know, if there's a bare arse in a thong, you know, camping, and if you don't think that there are a crew behind her, you know, there are people that are running this and probably paying her a wage for this, then you're completely delusional, because that's exactly what's going on. This is an exploitation of women to start with, as well as an exploitation of individuals, and an exploitation on the viewers as well that are watching this. But my goodness me, is this what we have to do here at the Mabstar Observatory to obtain more coverage, get more people attracted to the topic of magnetic pole reversal, teach them something about this flying ball that rotates around our sun whilst it goes rotating through the universe in a spiral dynamics. Is that what really we've got to do? Is that where we've got to right now? It's going to be real hard. I don't know how the human intelligence works. I'm still trying to figure that out. Something I was discussing on the way back from Birmingham to Coventry today with my brother. What's happened, to human beings, and how have we even got to this point? I'll tell you what the topic of conversation was. It was because we was just leaving Birmingham. We saw this huge flock of pigeons swarming in their flight. And we're saying, isn't that unusual? And then we got into the conversation of how swans and geese fly in that delta formation. And, we was then on the topic quickly, because me, on the quantum side. We've got the quantum computers now that can do things that other computers no way are capable of. And is that the way? I just put it out there to my brother. I said, we think animals are not very intelligent, but look at this. It takes a human being 9 months before we can get to our feet and walk. A baby foal horse, stands on its feet within the few moments of, being delivered. Same with most other animals, but human beings, it's 12 months. And I said, isn't it remarkable how we've got to this point where we are at the top of the food chain? Even though, somebody fell out the first vagina many, many years ago and had to spend a very long time, before it was able to get to its feet. Just think about that. How did we cross that level of evolution? Because can you imagine being a newborn in a society not like ours, but more of the sticks and stones society? How did you get on about eating? You're crawling through the tropical forest on your belly, pretty much, to start with. How did you feed yourself? How did you look after yourself? How did you become able to eventually, within those first 9 months, to actually stand on your feet? Because as a human being, everything would have been thrown at us. I mean, it's not like a baby could operate a bow saw. Absolutely nowhere near that. But that would have been something that would have required that baby to get to the next step of evolution in its life, even though it's a short space of life. I think you get where I'm coming from. So I really ponder a lot on, the attention that human beings have actually to the situation that they've got. And, I say it's a luxury for them to afford themselves the ability to think about things other than just what is going on around them in their normal daily life at this time and age, and for them to even fall on the topic of something really that is taking place, like the magnetic pole reversal. It would be like the odds of that happening would be, less likely than more likely. I think you would agree with me on that, and that's where we are, and things need to change. Yesterday's video, I was talking about, Volkswagen cutting the night shift, Mercedes doing the same at the same time in Germany. And you don't live in Germany right now, I bet you. But there will be a couple of our subscribers that do, and they will completely understand what I'm saying. How can you put up with a 90% increase on your energy costs, your energy bills, the gas and electric? Same for these manufacturers. That's why they're going bankrupt. And we've got to get back to, the Industrial Revolution, and we've got to recognise what was the very thing that caused the explosion to start with, and that was the affordability of energy. If you've got cheap energy, you can produce anything you want. And China have been exploiting this, even though I know people will say, okay, well, even China's feeling the pinch now. Well, they're feeling the pinch now because simply, they can't pay the salaries they was getting away with 30 years ago. But in our country, the reason why we can't produce is because, or in the first world countries, is because simply the energy is at such an expensive cost on the back of these lies of, blaming CO2 for the climate change. Yes, CO2 industries and green policies do make jobs, guys. They keep people in work. Kamala Harris spelled it out very quite easily for most people to understand if you go back and watch her interview, where they were saying that, the wind turbines, we would need so much land for it to become effective so that we could power, our countries and run our states on that. We just simply don't have the amount of land. But she said, no, you don't see the point. The point is that, do you understand how many people are employed in making those wind turbines? And the basic fact is this: yes, it might take electricians, electronic engineers of all sorts across the range, people that connect pipes to other, places where the pipes need to go, you've got your builders. You can imagine. I don't need to go into detail on that, but yeah, agreed. It's keeping people in work, but on a false pretext, and you're doing something that was never going to amount to anything anyhow, and you know that. Even you know that when you have left your days in office as, any influential member, that nothing will have changed at the end of it, and we're just firing off like we are on these videos where these women are running around in their underpants and their bras. We're just wasting our time watching it as opposed to doing something about it. If ever they said to me, Gene, on the basis of the magnetic pole reversal, we're going to be diverting tax money into these areas of, securing the infrastructure from CMEs. We're going to make sure that we've got an ample amount of backup substations that we can replace the ones that get taken out during a CME at this point in time where the magnetosphere is at its lowest possible point, or even, getting towards that. We're going to do that. I would have my utmost and outmost support for those things. But at the moment, we don't. Clearly, we are drifting in a direction where we don't need to be going down, and our time is being focused on things we shouldn't be focusing on. We shouldn't be looking at videos like this. You can do what you want at the end of the day, but if you want to fill your brains up with this sort of stuff, looking at somebody's arse in a thong, go knock yourself out doing that. Because I hope that you've got also the intelligence to work out that there is a woman being exploited here for the sake of making money on advert revenue. YouTube are profiting from it. Yet on the other hand, there are observatories like ours that struggle for funding. Yesterday's video, we had over 1,000 people view it. Nobody supported a single coffee. Can you believe that? That's the level of what we're at. When it comes down to it, and people say to us, in the future, why didn't you put the heads up on what was going on? I'm just going to say, well, you let our observatory dilapidate to the same point as what happened at that region where the volcanic observatory was in practice, full swing, had everything at its means, but was left to dilapidate because people didn't think it was going to happen today. And, when it happened, people lost their lives. Do we want to be in that same place when it could equally be avoided? What stops that happening? I'll tell you what stops that happening is lack of funds. Do you think I can knock on number 10 Downing Street? Can I have some funding for this observatory? This is what we do. No, it's not really falling in line with our green policies. And in fact, a lot of what you say, Gene, is against those policies. And, we're in the business of cutting carbon emissions. And you don't talk about that too much. In fact, you talk about something that we don't even know. One person out of 1,000 knows about the subject you talk about. So, disaster all round. I'm constantly, I don't know how I've had the enthusiasm to keep going to this point, because there are a lot of things that I could easily do otherwise. I'll tell you what I've got on the back burner. I've got 2 projects. For a friend, I promised to show him something, which is just in the recycling business of recycling batteries. Basically, I just said that there was a potential where we could tap, in that process, the hydrogen out of the lithium coming into contact with the water during the process. And that's one of the projects I've got. So we're going to demonstrate, generating the hydrogen from the recycling process. Basically, we're going to pull a lithium battery apart, take the lithium out, put it in water. We'll end up with a chemical reaction which produces lithium hydroxide and H2 gas, and we'll pump that H2 gas into a hydrogen fuel cell, which will convert it into electricity. I will show you this video over the next week, and it was just something I said I would do, and he's a supporter. Robert, you might see him in the comment section a few times. We'll do that and get that out of the way. And the other one is we're developing a thermostat that goes directly onto the radiator, and it's not like you think, because most radiators have these thermostats on them, but this one operates in a more intelligent way. And there's a good reason for that. Is it could possibly save 50% on your gas energy bill if you're running a combination boiler with that. In that, what we do, we wait for it to get to 7 degrees, the thermostat shuts it off. So we're doing the programming and we're building the electronics to do this. We're going to do it test first at the observatory, and then we'll put it out there for you guys. It'll be free. We don't want to make millions out of anything. We just want to stay around enough to help people, get through these tough times. And if we can save them 50% on their energy costs, then, that for me is time worth spending, and not looking at women walking around with a thong, barely covering their arse. And that is probably a point to leave it on. So look out for these videos that are going to be coming over the next couple of days. We'll do the Earth alpha glance first. We'll then do the magnetic pole positioning, and then these videos will drop in after that point. So I will mention once again, we got links. How come we've not got more people supporting us on PayPal, and how come people are reluctant to click that link and donate a few quid to something that is trying to support them at the end of the day? I really don't know. It's up to you guys. Links down there. You take care of your loved ones. More so now. Pay more attention, because we live in very dark times. We really do. Bye for now.